Happy New Year, everybody. It's Eric from the Reptile Room, and we are moving now into 2025. And for our first video, I'd like to touch a little bit on animal behavior, reading them, understanding when you're outside of their comfort zone, as reptiles especially are big fans of their personal space. And I'd like to kick it off by talking about the language barrier. Reptiles don't understand English, so you can stand there and you can call them a little cutie patootie, but they don't know that that means you're not going to eat them. Now this right here, Mr. Midas, he's a pretty chill little carpet python. That said, he's asleep right now, and you can see as I reach out and I touch him, he's kind of shying away from that. That's just because he's a little groggy and waking up. Snakes can't close their eyes, so it can be hard to tell if they're asleep. So if he were to reach out and tag at my camera right now, that would be entirely my doing. To top that off, these guys see infrared heat, and our smartphones use little blasts of infrared to basically adjust our automatic focus and whatnot, so he can pick up on that, and he doesn't know what that is. They also don't know how to use cell phones on account of not having fingers. That said, if I go in and I just kind of gently scoop underneath them, I can take him out relatively easily here. Now, he was dropped off under the pretense of being, whoa, where are you going, bud? Under the pretense of being a bit of an aggressive fella. But as long as you approach him right and you let him know that you don't intend to eat him, he's pretty chill. And you can do that by basically not hovering over their head, acting like a predator, or shying away when they look at you. Oftentimes, if you reach in and they snap their head around, people go, whoa, you're going to bite me. It's not always the case. Sometimes when things want to know what you're about, they just look at you. That's how it goes. Isn't that right, buddy? And that's all fine and dandy when we're talking about little things like fox snakes and carpet pythons. At the end of the day, if you misread them and you get hit by them, it's not really going to do anything to you. Sure, a carpet python's got some big teeth, but they're sharp and needly and there's no jaw strength there, so if they bite you, they're not going to do any serious lasting damage. But what about larger lizards like Mushu here? When he first came in, you couldn't get your fingers near him without getting nailed on the fingertip, and that hurt quite a bit. Monitors have much more of a bite to them than little snakes do. And so sometimes you have to train them. In Mushu's case, a red ball on a stick is all we needed. We just made the association between this and food. He'd only get food if he nose-booped the stick, and he caught on to that within a few hours. And now he's much more handleable. He's curious about what I've got here for him, but he also sees that it's not a red ball on a stick. So there's no real intention to bite. He just wants to see what I'm all about. And now I can pick him up and let him snooze on my shoulder like a little baby fella. And he does a lot better than he did before, and I'm not so worried about getting my jugular nicked by him. But some things I have to be careful with, like leaving red apples next to his enclosure. Surely that's got him a little confused. But it's important to not get complacent, like holding a tegu with 300 pounds of bite force up to your neck. But you have to really know your animals. I trust Jeffrey here. I trust him a lot. But just because I trust him doesn't mean I trust he's going to be this well behaved every single day. So I always make sure before I go to pick him up that he understands my intentions and that he feels like getting picked up. Because oftentimes they just want to be left alone. And if that's the case, the best thing you can do is give them their space. If you intrude on that, you're not going to get their trust. He is very gentle. Look how sweet he is about taking this little mini banana, and how careful he is that he doesn't show any interest whatsoever. That's okay. He's more about coming out and saying hi right now, aren't you, bud? Not every reptile will communicate that they're stressed by thrashing, running, and or biting. This is Chevron, the pink-tongued skink. We've been working with her to get her calmed down. She looks super chill right now, but I assure you, she's not. This is a freeze response. Basically, the idea is if I don't move, my motion won't set you off, and you won't try and eat me. Chevron will one day realize that I don't intend to eat her at any point, and then she's going to really start coming out of her shell. So far, the best I can do is sit by her enclosure with the door open and let her get curious and come to me. Treats really help as a motivator for that sort of thing. And sometimes with animals, you just have to take a chance. This is Ivy, our Macklot's python. 90% of the time, she's really, really sweet. 10% of the time, she'll bite you and hold on for absolutely no reason whatsoever. So I'm taking about a 10% risk right now that I'm just going to get nailed. Now, Amber's here, so at the end of the day, I'm not in any danger, and even if she did bite me, I mean, she's just going to leave a little mark behind, and once she realizes that I'm out of her weight class, she's going to let go pretty quickly. And the moral of the story here is no matter how much you trust any sort of animal, always bear in mind that they're still an animal, and they're doing animal things. And they're not out there to hurt you, but sometimes they get a little bit confused. Don't you, honey? And maybe don't leave small children unsupervised with animals, but that ought to be common sense. And that's it for this one, folks. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments below, and we will catch you in the next one.